Well, good afternoon, good afternoon, good afternoon, and welcome once again to Block Sports, and this is Michael Jefferson, and I am so happy to be here with you once again. This is the Celebration Bowl wrap, I guess you could say. And this has been, for one team, it has been an absolutely fantastic weekend. And for the other team, it has not been so fantastic of a weekend. And for those of you who are unaware, the one thing I can say is that the winning school for the Celebration Bowl was South Carolina State. And South Carolina State came in with a chip on their shoulders, and you could tell by the way that they were playing that they had nothing to lose. But not only that, but they had everything to gain, everything to win, and that's exactly the way that they played. And you could tell from the opening kickoff that they were just energized, energetic, and just ready to play and ready to represent the MEAC as only they could. I'm not saying that Jackson State was not ready to represent the SWAC conference, because they were. They came in ready to win. You could tell the energy in the stadium that they were ready to play, and they were ready to win and take home the trophy. But the one thing that I can easily say more than anything else is that South Carolina State, when they came into that stadium, it was just something different about their energy. It was just something different in terms of how they were playing. And you could just see it. And at the end of the game, you could tell it by the final score. And the final score was 31-10 in favor of South Carolina State. And I tip my hat to them. I had a chance to see Coach Oliver Pugh, the head coach for the South Carolina State Bulldogs, on a few occasions prior to the game. And it was just his mindset and the way he carried himself. He was focused, but he was loose. And you could tell that he was just ready to go. And you could tell that the way he was prepared for the game, I didn't get a chance to see anyone from Jackson State, unfortunately, but it was just the way that Coach Pugh, his just behavior in for getting ready for that game. I actually had a chance to see him the day of the game, and it was just his behavior that was just a lot different in terms of how he acted. And I can tell you one thing, his players, they were ready. They were ready to go. And there was nothing you could have told them otherwise in regards to being ready for that particular game. They were ready to come in and take over the world, and they were ready to upset the world if they had to. And as you could see, they did. And before I go any farther, the one thing I did mention that I did have the opportunity of interviewing Coach, and as a lot of his friends, I hope to get there one day. But as a lot of the people in the coaching fraternity they call him Coach Buddy, Coach Buddy Pugh. The one thing I was able to get a chance to interview Coach Pugh right after the game, and this was an exclusive interview that I was able to gather with him. I was not able to go to Media Row for the post-game show, but shortly after the post-game show was over, of course, after the trophy presentation to the South Carolina State Bulldogs, I was able to sit down with Coach Pugh, and I was able to have an exclusive interview with him. Without further ado, I'm going to go ahead and play the interview that I actually had with Coach Pugh, and I'll go ahead and play that right now. This is Michael Jefferson, and I'm with Block Sports, and I am here with the Celebration Bowl champion, Coach Pugh. South Carolina State pulled off a huge upset. What a lot of people would say is a huge upset. But for Coach Pugh, this is just another game for you.
Well, it's another game, but it was a big game, and you never know when you play a cross-conference rival that way because you don't know about the comparables. Sometimes they beat Alabama A&M 50-something to almost nothing.
61.
And then we lost 41. 41. So,
yes, sir. Yes,
you know,
sir.
you look at some of those kind of comparables and you worry, but at the same time, every day is a different day.
Yes, sir. Because as a matter of fact, based on common games, Jackson State was 3-0.
Yeah.
You were 1-2.
Is that right? Yeah.
But the only thing is, that's why they play the game.
Exactly.
Because when you play the game, you're coming up 11 on 11. And when you put helmet against helmet, you never know what the outcome can be. But let me ask you this, Coach. I mean, there were so many determining factors in the game that actually turned the game. When did you know that you had those Tigers?
Probably late in the fourth quarter when we got that last score to go up 31-10, somewhere in that neck of the woods. But up to that point, I was still uneasy as all get out. And you can tell that that team was explosive as can be. And I got to take my hat off to Coach Sanders. He's done a great job of putting that program on solid ground in a very short period of time. And you better get after him now, because if he keeps doing what he's doing in the recruiting game, then at that point, then you know they're gonna really be good here in the future.
Yes, sir. Well, but the one thing I can see is that even though, as a coach, yes, I do understand exactly what you're saying, that in the fourth quarter you feel that you never have the game won until it hits triple zeros. But I could see personally that in the first half, I could almost see a turning point where the Tigers, even though they went down, they scored on the second possession. And at the end of the second half, at the end of the first half, you guys ended up taking the lead. But I could also see a turning point in the game in the second quarter. Can you tell me anything? I don't know if you can remember anything about, but you guys always play with an edge.
I can. And defensively, we always do play with an edge. And the big problem our defense has sometimes is that our offense continues to give the opposing offense the football sometimes down close to our goal line. We had a couple turnovers. We were fortunate that didn't turn into big boo-boos on our part. But the big play for us was we were down 7-0. We were down close to our own goal line, and we had to punt. And our punter, on a rugby-style punt, punted the ball some 70 yards down the field and flipped the field over completely that way. So when you deal with a hidden yardage player of that big a proportion, then that kind
And as a matter of fact, I am going to have to make a quick stop of what is being shown here, and I have to make a quick adjustment to what is being played. So I will come back to you live in 5 minutes. So I apologize for this delay, but I will come back to you live in 5 minutes.